So where do you think we are today, guys? Surprise! We're in the kitchen. After I did my pumpkin pie from pumpkin powder, I had several requests from people asking how I made the powder. This pumpkin is from our my homegrown pumpkin in the garden. I'm going to drain the water off. I have one of these trusty little jar strainers, can strainers, and then I'll put it in my Ninja and I'll show you what I do next. Okay, this is going to go in my Ninja food processor, whatever you want to call it. And by the way, when I make a pumpkin pie, when this is made into puree, it's 2 cups, which is the same size as the 15-ounce can that you buy in the store. So I'm going to get this all whipped and whirled in the food processor and I'll be back. You don't need to hear that buzzing away. Okay, got my puree. Isn't that a beautiful orange color? It's even prettier than what you get in the can. But I've whipped it up to where it's really smooth, and it just took, you know, less than 60 seconds to do because it is cooked pumpkin. And from here, I can use this puree if I were to choose to cook with it for pie, muffins, bread, you know, anything you would use your canned pumpkin for. And like I said, this gives me 2 cups. All right, now let's get it ready to go in the dehydrator. Okay, I have my fruit roll-up trays in my dehydrator. And see, they kind of got a little lip to them. And all I'm going to do is go around and spread the puree, not paper thin, you don't want it too thin, but of course you want to try to get it the same thickness all the way around so it'll dry evenly. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make 1 batch. Usually what I do is I'll go ahead and fill up my tray, but that way we'll get an idea of how much this dehydrates down to. And I got this little tool, kind of makes it, smooths it out a little easier. All right, I'm gonna get another tray and I'll spread it on that. Okay guys, I ended up with 1.5 trays of pumpkin puree. So now I'm gonna put the lid on. Pumpkin is a vegetable, so I'm gonna put it on the vegetable setting. And my work is done here until tomorrow. We'll come back and see how this turned out. All right, guys, it's the next day, and our pumpkin powder has been in the dehydrator, I'm gonna say maybe 18 hours. But this is what it looks like. This is the half sheet. This is the full sheet. So I'm going to position my camera, and we're going to take that off of the dehydrator fruit roll-up trays, and then I'll show you where we go from there. This is one of those rare times that I sit down when I'm working. I'm thinking it's all going to fit in a baby food jar, but let's give it a try. We're going to take it off the sheet, and what I have here is one of my coffee grinders. And so we're going to take this pumpkin off. This is the dehydrated pumpkin you saw me put on yesterday, and I believe I said don't put it too thin, don't put it too paper thin. It's harder to get off if you put it too thin, but it will just come off in sheets like this. Sometimes I can get the whole thing to come off. And I have better luck if I kind of bend it backwards and just peel it off of there. So I'm going to get the 3.5 on the, I've got a sheet of parchment paper here to catch it all. I'll get it all put on here and I'll come back. Okay guys, here's what I got off the trays. And the next thing we're going to do is start putting it in the coffee grinder. And Got it put in there, and I'm just going to pulse. Okay, what I do when I'm done is I turn it over and tap it to get the powder in the little cup. And I don't know if you can see, there's little chunks in there. So I get my little tea strainer and pour it in there. I have learned that to make sure that you just have a powder, it's going to reconstitute better. So I'm just going to keep doing this. And with these chunks in, all you have to do is put it back in the coffee grinder and keep grinding away until you get a powder. While I'm thinking about it, never put oil or anything on your sheets, your fruit roll-up trays and what have you. You don't want to do that. You don't want any oils in your dehydrated food because oil can go rancid. So I'm just going to keep tapping away, and when I get it all done, I'll come back. Okay, I've got the powder done. This is interesting to me. I've always wanted to know, because when I do pumpkin powder, I usually do a whole pumpkin, maybe 2 pumpkins. But I've never done just, 2 cups. Holy smokes. Wow. Look at that, guys. I should measure that. I bet that's only, let's measure it. Okay, I have decided to measure it. I put it back in the bowl. This is a 1/2 tablespoon. And that's 2. Holy cow. Okay, by the time I go around and clean this all up, I'm going to have about 3 tablespoons of pumpkin powder. So, dehydrate down 1 can of, the store-bought stuff, and you're going to end up with 3 tablespoons of powder. And no, it's all shelf-stable, ready to go. You just add boiling water and rehydrate it. Okay, guys, now this was interesting to me. So I'll see y'all later. Thanks for watching.